Now, we understand and we know that the central bankers, they need control over everything. Everything that has to do with the creation of currency. And with cryptocurrency, with fiat currency, they want complete and utter control. Actually, they don't want anyone using cryptocurrency whatsoever. They want a centralized system. And if they're going to use any type of cryptocurrency, they want complete and utter control. But it's very difficult in a decentralized system. So what they would like to do is they would like to have a centralized system. And I think this is what they're trying to move into, where they're trying to have governments, regulators, regulate the crypto market. Now, some people say this is going to be great. Some other people say this is not going to be so great. But what we see happening right now is that Coinbase, and remember, Coinbase handed over information to the IRS so people could be taxed on their crypto trades. Now, it doesn't mean they traded one crypto for another. It's when they cashed out into US dollars. Coinbase right now, they have initiated the process to become a fully regulated broker-dealer by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. And it looks like they're moving in the direction to become a regulated broker-dealer. And basically, all information will be then handed over to the IRS. Now, again, this is not a decentralized exchange. This is a centralized exchange. With a decentralized exchange, which there's not many out there as of yet, but soon there will be, just like the internet, how that basically went from Internet 1.0, where you had to dial up and get into it. This is the beginning stages of the crypto revolution. This is going to go way beyond what anyone can even think of as time goes on. And there's going to be so many different industries using it, it's going to be mind-boggling. Almost like the internet. No one could ever think of the internet being on a handheld phone where you can just swipe and touch the screen and do your banking. You can purchase items. You can surf the web. You can do pretty much everything on that little device. The same thing's going to happen with cryptocurrencies, with the blockchain technology. And if you want to learn more about this, you can go to the X23reportschool.com. You can learn how cryptocurrencies work, or you can join the trading room and you can watch traders trade the cryptocurrencies. Go to the website, read what they have to say, read the information there, and you can join either one of them or both if you like. Now, we see that the U.S., they are placing tariffs on all different countries. Canada, the EU, Mexico. And Putin is out there, and he's saying that all these tariffs, they're pretty much the same as economic sanctions in disguise. And I kind of agree with him. The tariffs are sanctions on all these countries. Now, all of this is being done on purpose. There's a reason why all this is happening, because what is happening here is these deals that were created in the past, NAFTA, TPP, which is struck down already, the TTIP, which is really not going anywhere because the U.S. is not really involved. These were created by the globalists. This was for a one world system, and this was the beginning stages of it. TPP was going to really bring us into that realm of a one world government, one world currency. And what Trump and the Patriots, what they're doing right now is they're trying to break this apart. This is why Trump went after NAFTA right in the beginning, even though it's tied up in Congress and is very difficult to unravel. This is why they're renegotiating right now. But I think what's going to happen is eventually they're going to have to go and basically just cancel the whole damn thing, just like TPP, because it doesn't benefit the American people. And the reason why all these tariffs or sanctions, whatever you want to call them, are being placed on all these different countries is to basically make all these countries buckle under the pressure and rework all these deals. We need new trade deals. We're moving into a new system. The system that we're in right now is a central banking system. It's based off the Federal Reserve note, the petrodollar, which was created in 1971. And we've been using this for quite a while. And people have gotten used to it. People think debt is wealth. And, the whole type of thinking about the economy is a central banking thinking model. We need to get out of this. This is why bilateral trades are being worked on. This is why we see China. They're pushing the Belt and Road, which is the Silk Road. And we can see that there's a new system being formed while the old system is being destroyed. And that is what is happening right now. The old system is being destroyed to make room for this new system. And the only way to do that is to bring the whole system down. Think about what the whole system supports. It supports the central bankers. It supports Wall Street. It supports the deep state. It supports all of this. If you destroy the source of where all this comes from, you destroy all of it. And where does it come from? It comes from the central banks. It comes from the Federal Reserve. It comes from the IMF. It comes from the biz. They've taken over the world. I mean, this is what they've done. They've taken over the creation of currency for almost the entire world. And they put countries into debt. They have full control. But we see this completely breaking up right now. We see there are many, many problems, and countries, well, they realize that all this debt is not helping their country. Italy, for instance, they're in big trouble right now. And with their new leadership, they're looking to go in a different direction. And we can see that Italy, in the past, they proposed for maybe a parallel currency system. Now, this was exposed how Italy, they were planning to print the lira, but EU-backed president destroyed the bid to oust the euro. And they were planning on this plan B, where they were going to have a parallel currency, and they might have gone from the euro and moved into the lira. And we can see that that plan didn't work out. But Italy, they're thinking about another plan. And what we're seeing right now is this might be the biggest threat to the Eurozone. Now, former biz chief economist William White said this is how this whole thing might unfold. The trigger for a crisis could be anything. If the system as a whole is unstable. Moreover, the size of the trigger event need not bear any relation to the systemic outcome. The lesson is that policymakers should be focused less on identifying potential triggers than on identifying signs of potential instability. Now, Bill says the financial system is so fragile that practically anything could trigger a crisis. Better to watch for the signs of potential instability, and one of the hotspots today is Italy. Italy's new government, this is an unexpected coalition between two populist parties, could blow up the fragile trust that keeps Europe together, and the leading parties may even be planning for it. The discussion between Lega Nord and Five Star included an idea called the mini-bot that would effectively serve as a parallel currency. Now, the bot is Italy's treasury bill, and as in the U.S., it serves as a kind of cash equivalent in electronic trading. The mini-bot would be a government debt instrument in paper form that pays zero interest and never matures. The government would use it to pay social benefits and accept it for tax payments. Private businesses would not be required to accept it, but they could. Private businesses and individuals would also, in theory, buy the mini-bot as a way to pay their taxes, but they would buy them at a discount. So traders would immediately set up an arbitrage where the person getting the social benefits payment could sell them for euros for, call it, a 5% or 10% haircut. And they're pushing this idea to move away from the euro. Now, if they do this, which they might, because they keep saying Italy first, they're getting rid of the refugees within their country. If they do this and other Mediterranean countries see this, they're going to move in the same direction. And this might be the trigger that brings down the fragile global economy. Because we know that this economy, it's based on an illusion. It's based on fake data. It's based on a central banking model system that implodes every 40 to 45 years. And one little thing can bring the whole thing down. This is what central bankers mostly worry about. They worry about something coming out of left field that they didn't expect, that they can't control. Just like here in the United States, their main problem here in the United States is they can print currency, no problem. They can prop up the banking system, no problem. They can manipulate the stock market, no problem. They can manipulate the interest rates, no problem. The one thing they can't do here is make people spend. And remember, people purchasing things in retail is 70% of GDP. That's their main problem here. And they can't get people jobs. So with those two things, they have a problem. The system doesn't work. Yes, they can fake everything around us, but the big evidence of how the system is breaking down is when there are no jobs. They can pretend that, there are jobs by showing that the unemployment numbers are very, very low, but everyday people, they realize, well, if there are so many jobs out there, how come I can't get one? How come I can't get that high-paying job? Why aren't salaries moving up? Why don't we see churn in the market? See, people realize this when they see stores closing down, brick and mortar stores closing down, malls empty, the traffic drying up. People realize something is wrong, something's not right. If the economy is so great, why isn't this expanding? So people notice it, people realize it, people understand it. And for those people who are looking for jobs, what is it, 102 million people where they can't find work? If they haven't been on an interview, in 4 weeks, they're just not included in the job numbers anymore. They understand what's happening. Yes, if you have a job, if you're working someplace, you'll never realize what's going on. You might a little bit. It's like if you're not selling your house, you don't realize how hard it is to sell your house in a market where the corporate media and everyone else is telling you how great the market is. I mean, I can think back to 2006, 2007, where people were selling their homes and they couldn't get anyone to look at their house. They couldn't get anyone to come. But if you listen to the corporate media, they were telling you how great it was. And they said, this doesn't make sense. Nobody's coming. And they started lowering their prices and still nobody was coming. And just maybe 6-8 months before that, there were tons of people. And it just all dried up. But the corporate media and everyone else was telling you that it was great. That prices are continually rising. Everything is fantastic. And then we come to learn the whole thing was breaking down. This is what's happening right now. The whole thing is breaking down. And countries are looking for an escape route. They're looking to protect themselves. And everything is going to change. We're already seeing the changes. We're not seeing the globalists at work anymore. Because if that was true, TPP would have been passed. TTIP would have been passed. The Belt and Road, that would never exist under the globalist system. That would be squashed and pushed down really, really hard. The central banks, they wouldn't worry about anything. They wouldn't care because they knew they were in control. And we would see illegals pouring into this country because they'd have to basically blend and even out every single country So there's no difference in the amount of pay. And of course, the United States, the pay is quite high compared to other countries. So they're not going to bring other countries up to the level of the United States. They were going to bring the United States down to the level of other countries, so you can have cross workers in any country getting the same exact pay. This is the model they wanted. We don't see that right now. We see the opposite happening. We see TPP struck down, TTIP not going anywhere. The Belt and Road, the Silk Road building. We're seeing more and more countries move to China, Russia, dealing outside of the dollar. We see here in the United States, the $100 bill. Half of it is the Federal Reserve note. The other half is the U.S. Treasury. And it's gold. And it tells you how to overthrow your government. There are changes happening if you look for them. I mean, it's not going to be on the corporate media. It's not going to be in the newspapers. They're not going to tell you any of this. Just like going back to the 70s, they didn't tell you, hey, by the way, the reason why we have oil shortages is because we're coming off the gold standard right now. You guys don't mind, right? That we take the currency system, which is run by the central bank, we're going to take it off the checks and balances of gold, and we're going to remove that. But we're going to lie to you to say that there's speculators, and that's why we're removing the currency off the gold standard. And also, then we're going to take the currency and hook it to oil out in the Middle East. And we promised them that we would protect them. And if anyone tries to invade those countries, we would go to war for them. No, they're not going to tell you that. The same thing happening today. They're not going to tell you what's happening here. And you can see everything's being duplicated out in China, out in Russia. It's all being prepared so everything can come off of this central banking system. This is why the countries are making bilateral trade deals. They're not making the trade deals that they did with the globalist system where they wanted TPP. Everything is individual. I'll deal with this country. I'll deal with that country. I'll deal with this country. And if that country, something happens, the other deals are fine. So we can see that there are changes happening. We're moving away from the globalist system. But the only way to completely get out of it is to shut down the old system. And we're in the old system. This system